What's going on, everybody? It's me, Amaze the Storyteller, back at you with a brand new video. And today I'm going to be talking about the man, the myth, the legend. You read that title correctly. We're talking about Monkey D. Garp. I'm just kidding. The title lied to you. It was clickbait. We're talking about Lieutenant Fullbody today. I know they came out of left field, but, I feel the minor characters really need their own introduction. There's not enough time to talk about the minor characters, and there's not enough YouTubers to talk about all the minor characters in all of One Piece. Tekking's done a great job. Liam from Grand Line Review does a great job, but you know who you have? You have Amaze, who will always talk about the smallest of characters. I feel Lieutenant Fullbody is one of the coolest characters in all of One Piece, and I'm going to tell you a few different reasons why. But first, let's go over his introduction, right? When he's first introduced, he's a Navy HQ lieutenant. Now, Navy HQ personnel, that means they served on the Grand Line. If they have the title Navy HQ before whatever their rank and title is, that means that they actually served and fought Grand Line pirates. And we know the Grand Line has way greater threats than any of the four blues. Even if all four blues were put together, the Grand Line would still be more dangerous. And his appearance is super cool. He's tall, he's slender, and he has pink hair. Guess who else has pink hair? Guess what other Marine has pink hair? You guessed it, it's Colby. And Colby, along with Lieutenant Fullbody, have very similar careers within the One Piece world. It's actually kind of cool, and I'll go over that later. But I would be really interested to see if Fullbody and Colby were actually related somehow. Maybe they're distant relatives, because ethnicity is still a thing in One Piece. Humans still have, regional adaptation, just like we do. They still have the same effects from melanin and all that stuff. We've seen that. We've seen the diversity within the One Piece world that exists within humans, and that exists in our world too. They share the similarities, and by extension, I would think Colby having pink hair and fucking Fullbody having pink hair means that they could be related. I mean, it's not a far-fetched idea. How many characters have pink hair? Big Mom, Fullbody, and Colby. Those are the top three I can think of. I can't think of any other ones. I'm sure they're out there, but I really can't think of them. Oh, and Perona, who actually freed Colby. Maybe they're all related. That makes total sense. Anyway, let's get into this. So, Fullbody's introduction, right? We actually have two different introductions for Fullbody. The manga is totally different from the anime. In the manga, Fullbody's introduced during Django's cover story, where Django goes to Mirrorball Island, runs into Yakura, and Yakura is this badass pirate with a big ass bounty, like 30 million berries, just as high as Luffy's, and beats the shit out of Fullbody, and Django comes in and saves Fullbody. Now, there's more to this story, and I'll go into that later. That's when Fullbody's originally introduced. In the anime, Fullbody's introduced in the Bartier arc, because remember, back in early One Piece, they didn't know how long it would go for. They didn't know it would go on for almost 30 fucking years. They thought it would end relatively soon. They only planned up until the Arlong arc for the One Piece story. They really did. Like, that's how far they were willing to go in the anime, was just a few arcs. Not even. So, Fullbody's introduction precedes the One Piece anime, which is super cool. It's really, really cool. Not only that, but he works together with Django to defeat this crazy-ass pirate, and they do defeat him. Fullbody puts this dude in his place, and Fullbody's also regarded as the hero of the East Blue, because he bags up these pirates, and there's not many Marines in the East Blue. The only captain we've seen in the East Blue is that fucking rat Nezumi, right? So Fullbody's job is to clean up the entirety of the East Blue, which is super fucking cool, right? So the citizens love Fullbody. He's a local, lack of a better term, celebrity. He bagged Yakura. Now here's the thing you have to remember. In the manga, the cover story is apparent to Fullbody's character. In the anime, it's not. They make excuses in the anime. In the manga, now the reason, know this, you have to understand this. When Fullbody was introduced in the manga, he was stripped of his rank and title. He was no longer a Navy HQ lieutenant. That's absolutely crazy. I'm going to tell you why. Because that's why he was an asshole at the Bartier. He took Moody, who was the lady that he was dating, he took Moody to the Bartier to have a good time, and he was trying to flex his influence and power he no longer had because Navy HQ stripped it away from him because he chose to save Django. He's an incredibly loyal human being. He's a really good dude. And when you rewatch One Piece, you realize that Sanji was the asshole. Lieutenant Fullbody was a good dude. He saved citizens. He saved Django from being hung. They befriended each other. They went on to have a career together in Hina's cover story. You know, they do a lot of crazy stuff together. Django even tried to hypnotize Fullbody into forgetting everything because of how bad Django felt that Fullbody saved him. Dude, Fullbody's an incredible human being, alright? That's one thing you gotta understand, that the anime does not display as all the good deeds Fullbody did, and saving Django as well. He didn't have to save Django, he could have watched Django be hung. So here's the full story of Mirrorball Island, right? Django enters a dance competition, Fullbody's men are chasing Django, and by extension Fullbody's there, but Fullbody's like, oh, my men could probably handle Django on their own, I'm gonna enter in this dance competition. Just so happens to be the same dance competition Django's in, and Django's in full disguise, so Fullbody doesn't recognize him in particular One Piece fashion. Django's not very well disguised, I'll put an image up here, and Fullbody's like, oh my god, you're a great dancer, and Django's like, thank you. You're quite the good dancer too. And they befriend each other, and they become extremely fast friends. They start almost dating. They have this incredible bromance. And Fullbody realizes it's Django because his men find Django's uniform that has Django's fucking epithet on there. And they were like, Fullbody, you're dancing with Django! And Django's like, oh shit, and that's when Yakura shows up and the Tulip Pirates, and they take a hostage. They take this woman hostage who looks strikingly like Moody, to be fair. And Lieutenant Fullbody's like, no, you have a hostage, I can't do anything. You might kill the hostage. And he's right, because fucking Yakura is not like a fucking Django character. Yakura is more like Kuro. Look at this dude, he's fucking terrifying. And so, in fear that Yakura's gonna kill this lady, Fullbody just takes Yakura's punishment. Yakura beats the shit out of Lieutenant Fullbody with everything Yakura's got in him, and that's when Django swoops in, right before Lieutenant's about to die. Right before Lieutenant Fullbody is almost dead, Django comes in, and together they dispatch the Tulip Pirates and save the hostage. So anyway, that's where we get to the Bartier, where Sanji basically breaks Lieutenant Fullbody's face, and Lieutenant Fullbody's not even a fucking ranked Marine anymore. He's a seaman recruit. You know, they gave him like a window, and that's when he went to the Bartier. Okay? Now he does have a really iconic fighting style. I think of the world of One Piece where you have fucking guys with black cat claws, and an axe hand, and discs that you hypnotize people with. Lieutenant Fullbody stands out with his ironclad duster. Not dusters, duster. He doesn't get the dusters until later. He finally decides to use 2 dusters, but instead he uses 1. If you don't know what a duster is, it's brass knuckles. Okay? And so he dispatches these pirates with 1 fist of glorious justice. And he does this extremely well. As we saw, he became a Navy HQ lieutenant, which is not a low-ranking officer. It's a fairly high-ranking officer, in fact. He got his own ship and fleet. You know, so he's dispatching pirates all throughout the East Blue with an iron fist. Not iron fists, not to be confused. Iron fist. And then he gets defeated, right? He gets defeated by Sanji, which is a great embarrassment, especially after he had his title and rank stripped. It's very sad. Very sad. And I think Oda felt bad because he gets redemption. So when Django's about to hypnotize Lieutenant Fullbody into forgetting their entire friendship, because Django doesn't want Lieutenant Fullbody's career to be inhibited by their essence together. Because their essence together represents a former pirate becoming Marine and a former great officer becoming lower and befriending a pirate Marine. Like, that is frowned upon in the Marines. You don't befriend pirates. Your job is to kill pirates. So everybody would look down on Lieutenant Fullbody. It just would happen. So Django wants Lieutenant Fullbody to forget all of that, forget their friendship, forget who he is, and right when he's about to do that, Hina steps in and takes both of them under their wing. They fall in love with Hina, and Bob's your uncle. Now we're in the current One Piece. The thing is, and I think one of the coolest things in all of One Piece, and I can't remember if I said this, is the scene where Luffy exudes Conqueror's Haki for the first time at Marineford. He exudes Conqueror's Haki, and Django falls. Most of the Marines fall, except for Lieutenant Fullbody. Lieutenant Fullbody is left standing. He's speechless and he goes to tend to Django. Every Marine fell except for Fullbody, which means his spirit, Fullbody's spirit, is strong enough to withstand Conqueror's Haki, which in turn means that Fullbody has access to exhibiting Haki on some level. He might have observation, he might have armament, whatever, but he does have access to Haki. He may not know how to use it, but at least he has access. Because Haki's within every one of us, Haki's in with every human, with every entity in the One Piece world. However, not everything has access to utilizing Haki. Conqueror's Haki is exuded out of another individual. Part of the prerequisite to you surviving that cannon blast of spirit is you having a strong enough spirit to withstand it. And that's the prerequisite to accessing Haki. We've seen this every time within the One Piece story. So Fullbody must have Haki on some level, which is super cool. Oda didn't have to put that in there, but he did. He snuck that in there because I think Fullbody's going to become relevant later on. Now, Fullbody's fighting style is boxing. He's a guy who dances, which is really boxer-esque, because boxers are fighters who dance, if you guys didn't know. And I do box. I'm a boxer myself. I'm just like Fullbody. Fullbody, again, one of my favorite characters. He's awesome. I could go on a side tangent about boxing all day long. I don't want to. I got to keep this up. So let's see where I'm at. I talked about him being a boxer. It would be really cool if he developed Haki and Roshushiki. It'd be really cool if he developed Rokushiki techniques that revolved around Haki that allowed him to use Tempest kicks, but with his fist. Tempest punches! And he can send like fucking flying slashes at you with his fists. That'd be fucking cool. Now, after the time skip, he's got a huge promotion. He is now a Lieutenant Commander Fullbody, which is one rank away from Captain. He's a very high-ranking Marine right now. And, you know, it makes sense with the progression of the story, and it's easy to overlook these guys. But what I think is going to happen to the Marines as a whole is the Marines are going to have to take on Cross Guild. Because right now, the Marines are being dwarfed by the Yonko. The Marines can't keep up. Even the Admirals, for the most part, aren't going to be able to keep up with, like, say, Luffy, Buggy, Blackbeard, or Shanks. They just can't. We haven't seen anything, which is why the Holy Knights were developed, right? So, Lieutenant Fullbody is going to get action in this story. It's just not against the Straw Hats. It's going to be up against the Cross Guild. Because remember, guys, who's on froze Garp after Garp tried to rescue Colby? Why does this matter? Well, now the Blackbeard pirates are going to turn Garp over for that sweet-ass cash, because remember, the whole premise, the whole reason why Garp captured Colby was because he wants to trade Colby in to become a nation under the world government. Now they have Vice Admiral Garp. Now they can actually do it, or they can afford to do it with the tribute they're about to get from the Cross Guild. Because the Cross Guild is going to pay them 3 billion berries to be able to get a hold of Garp's corpse. Okay? When that happens, Blackbeard can now barter his way into the world government by selling Garp's corpse. And then the Marines, specifically Sword, are going to lose their shit when that happens. Sword's going to swoop in and beat the shit out of Cross Guild. And what better Sword members to show up than Hina, Django, and our boy Fullbody, with 2 fists of delicious metal justice, smashing in some of the upper, maybe lower echelon of the Cross Guild. I would love to see Django and Fullbody take on an upper Cross Guild member. That would be fucking sweet. Speaking of which, who would win? Fullbody or Helmeppo? Because Fullbody's more like Colby, but Colby totally beats Fullbody. We know that. But who would win? Helmeppo or Fullbody? I think Fullbody. I think Fullbody with Haki and like Tempest punches? Absolutely. Excuse me. Absolutely. I think Fullbody smashes Helmeppo's face in and shakes that cleft chin and turns it into a nice pointed chin like mine. Anyway, Fullbody's a very cool character with very cool character development. Oda obviously cares about him because he wouldn't have shown that scene where Fullbody survives Luffy's Conqueror's Haki otherwise. It just wouldn't have happened. So let's see if I missed anything here. Fullbody seems to be written in the anime a lot of times as comedic relief, but in the manga, he's taken as a serious character. Oda writes Fullbody as a very serious character. Oda doesn't always write Fullbody as comedic relief. He does a lot of the time, but not every time. Again, Fullbody has had moments where he shows his grit, like when he was getting his ass kicked by Yakura. Remember, Yakura had a hostage. Fullbody didn't want to move in on Yakura. He could have dispatched the entire crew himself. It's stated by Oda that he could have an SBS. But he just didn't, because he didn't want the hostage to die. That's super important to remember. He could have destroyed the Yakura and Tulip pirates, but just didn't because he didn't want to risk one individual's life. Who is that similar to? Our boy Colby. So, again, Lieutenant Fullbody is best boy right now. He's awesome. And again, after doing research, you realize that he's never the bad guy. Sanji was the asshole for making Fullbody seem like a complete dick, but he wasn't. We talked about Hina. So who is Hina? Hina's the cage fruit user. She's got the ability to wrap up people in this cage-like substance. The cage-like substance is literal steel bars. Great. It's a great ability for a Marine to have, because every pirate she comes into contact with who doesn't have hockey abilities is just done. Doesn't matter what your devil fruit ability is. If you're a Logia, you might be able to get out of it, but for the most part, you're just wrapped up. And she can extend these out of her arms. It's fucking crazy and overpowered, and it pisses me off that she's only a rear admiral. However, rear admiral or vice admiral aside, she's a high-ranking official that full body follows to the T. He does not disengage from her orders. Whatever her orders are, he does his best to carry them out to the extent of his abilities, and every time we see him try to deliver something, he fails, right? Which is the comedic relief aspect of it, but I'm hoping he gets a moment in the story where he actually gets to show off maybe his newfound hockey abilities, maybe his newfound Rokushiki abilities, in a very small moment against the Cross Guild. It makes sense to me. A fun fact about Lieutenant Fullbody is that he actually joined the same time Morgan did, and the same time Marine X joined. Now, if you don't know who Marine X is, I don't blame you. He's this dude right here. Blonde hair, always has the cannon. Anytime you see him, that's who it is. It's the same guy every time. And he always likes to chase the Straw Hats. He's not very strong. We all think that these are just copy fodder Marines. No, they're the same Marines. Oda says that in the SBS, which is hilarious. And also, we have Captain Morgan. We all know Morgan. Now, out of these three individuals, one is non-canon, which is Marine X. So, with Lieutenant Fullbody, he is the only one out of these three who joined at the same time to have a legitimate rank established. He's the only one who actually got his rank through bagging pirates. Captain Morgan was delusional and hypnotized into thinking he had beaten Captain Kuro when he did not, and Marine X is non-canon. So out of these three who joined at the same time, the only successful one is Lieutenant Fullbody, who's now a Lieutenant Commander. So that's awesome. That's awesome that Oda just gives us credence and gives us a little bit of backstory about the Marines that joined at the same time as Fullbody, and the fact that Fullbody's more famous, more intelligent, and better established than those other two. Super cool. Fullbody also gets really buff. It just happens. So in conclusion, Lieutenant Fullbody, I see big things happening for him. I see him coming back into the story and fighting Cross Guild, as I had mentioned. I see him getting a huge power buff alongside Django. And I see them doing good things with Hina against Cross Guild. And I see them becoming members of SWORD. I think that's an awesome way to get Fullbody back into the story. Another thing that's super important, and I'll wrap up the video with this, the reason why I think Fullbody's going to be more focused upon within the One Piece story is because he's actually the one to introduce the battleships that Kuzan, Garp, and Colby utilized as sandbags to train with. Now remember, the prerequisite to training this way is that you have to turn your hockey off. You have to train this way without hockey. Both Garp and Kuzan were able to beat the shit out of these battleships without hockey, and by extension Colby was too. Now, who is asking Brand New these questions, Brand New being the intelligence officer, who's asking Brand New these questions? Well, it's actually Lieutenant Fullbody. Lieutenant Fullbody's the one bringing this up. So it makes sense that he could, by extension, become one of Garp's proteges by training in this similar method. Now, he wouldn't be able to perfect the method because, again, everyone who's able to teach that method is either a pirate or dead, which would be Kuzan and Garp. They're the only two that are really able to teach this method. Colby knows it a little bit, but he didn't get to perfect it as we saw at Hachinosu Island. He's got a lot under his arsenal, but he's not able to teach Lieutenant Fullbody right now. He might be able to. He might be able to teach Lieutenant Fullbody. Maybe they train together, right? Maybe we find out that they're actually cousins or even long-lost brothers, and they train together, they fight together, and then all of a sudden, Lieutenant Fullbody and Colby get this massive power buff, and they come back as SWORD members to get Garp's corpse back from the Cross Guild. Because even Garp's corpse means something to the Cross Guild. Like, it's not just going to be, oh, we have Garp's body, and then the Marines are just going to be like, no, give it back. No, they're going to go. Like, all of SWORD is going to get together, and they're going to form an allegiance with other SWORD members, and they're going to go straight there to the Cross Guild HQ and beat the shit out of Buggy, fight Mihawk, fight Crocodile, fight the Cross Guild, and get Garp's corpse back. That's what's going to happen. So, how does this happen? Well, it's led up by Colby, obviously, being Garp's protege. It's led up by Colby. It's headed up by Hina, Prince Groose, Fullbody, and Django. Those are going to be like our 5 core officers. And then, of course, you have the other Rear Admiral girl, I don't remember what her name was, but she has the whip. And then, of course, you also have Hinari, or whatever her name is. I don't remember. It's been so long, guys. But anyway, we have the sword members along with Drake. What if Drake comes back for this? And we have all the sword members fighting against Cross Guild, and that's how Lieutenant Fullbody's story comes full circle. Maybe he dies, maybe he doesn't, but he's recognized as a hero yet again, fighting against Cross Guild. But anyway, guys, I hope you liked this video. I have new technology now. I hope it's better. I'm going to get better at speaking into the camera slowly but surely. This has been like 20 takes, which is way too many in my opinion, but it doesn't matter. We're going to keep this going. We're going to keep producing more quality videos for you guys, and I love you all. Thank you so much for subscribing. This has been the 1,000 subscriber special, by the way. We're finally at 1,000. We're almost at 2,000 by this point, by the time this video comes out, which is absolutely insane. So I really appreciate you guys. Keep subscribing, keep supporting the channel, keep commenting, and watch for the polls, guys, because the polls are very important. When those polls come out, you guys vote, because I don't want to be the one to decide what video I make. I want you guys to be the ones to decide what video I make. Anyway, make sure to like and subscribe. Watch my playlist. It really helps with the watch time on the channel. Love you all. I'll see you in the next video. Vote for who you want to see next. Only minor characters. We only talk about minor characters on this channel. If you want to watch major characters, you go to Grand Line Review, you go to Teching 101, you go to those channels. I only do minor characters because they deserve their moment to shine. They deserve their appreciation. Ultimately, they're the reason that I rewatch One Piece, because they might have been something I missed. They, in particular, I may have missed something about them that I would have found really interesting or really cool, and that's why I cover them on this channel. So I love you all. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.